JS Racing. We're in the game.
Gentlemen, start your engine!
Drivers, start your printers.
To keep pace with the ever-changing landscape of marketing and advertising, let Clark Print Shop help you spot the trends and keep you in front of the pack with all your color printing needs. From business cards to invitations, menus to mugs, we can print anything you need on paper or your choice of over 3,000 promotional items. Visit www.clarkprintshop.com to browse our online catalog and place your order today, or call us at 276-889-3426. For a limited time, use the code iRacing for 23% off your first purchase. The staff at Clark Print Shop looks forward to handling all your color printing needs.
Walking and Rolling Costumes started when my son Reese was born with cancer.
So when I was 3 years old, I got my first wheelchair.
And he wanted to be Wall-E for Halloween that year. And so I knew you couldn't buy a costume to go on a wheelchair at that time. So I knew I had to build one.
My dad ended up building a Wall-E costume out of a Dell computer box.
When we were all finished, he loved it. We took pictures of it and shared it on social media. So many people started sharing it that we started getting requests from people we didn't know.
In 2015, we decided to build them for other kids because people were asking, hey, can you build them for my kid?
So we started the nonprofit organization, Walking and Rolling Costumes, and we build costumes for kids all over the nation, free of charge to the families.
Welcome in, everybody, for Saturday Night Racing League. I'm your host, Bradley Cooper.
Gentlemen, start your engine!
Again, well, thank you all for being here.
32 cars, green flag at Daytona. And it is a cluster back here for the 15th position. Haley Turner lead him down.
Turner, Stravado, Jeff Wright. We see some lockup, big lockup. Rewind for second. Sturgeon clears all of them.
Comes down a little bit here in the entry of one.
Porter might just try to run him out of room here. Oh, he put him in the wall. They're going to crash. They both crash. Ray Massey's going to win it. Are you kidding me?
Well, we jumped a little bit ahead there, and we've got New Hampshire Motor Speedway on the docket here tonight. We introduced you to the fall season last Saturday, and now it's halfway through the mid-season. I gotta say, it's gonna be exciting here tonight at the Magic Mile, but live for the Saturday Night Racing League Challenger Series. Bradley Cooper, and we have a new co-commentator tonight. Well, that's not the track map I expected to see. Let's try the right one. We've got Dakota Floyd up here in the broadcast booth, and we're trying to push buttons here tonight. Things getting a little bit broken, but we're going to get through it together, Dakota. This is the two-time champion here at the Challenger Series up in the broadcast booth. And Dakota, I know New Hampshire is a tricky racetrack. It's flat, it's fast, and you can use the apron.
Yeah, well, it's a pleasure to be here, Bradley, and I'm glad you guys brought me on board tonight. And you're absolutely right. New Hampshire is one of the toughest tracks on the schedule, being so flat. And the good thing is here is you have a lot of lanes to pass on, and I've been seeing a lot of guys in practice start to practice that apron, so I'm really curious to see what the strategy is when it comes to the long run here tonight.
Taking a look here at our track map. Now that we have the proper one up on the screen, it's June 5th, 1990, and you were just watching this here on V-Speed a moment ago when we were broadcasting following the Cup Series schedule for Racing Revolution. But New Hampshire, in Loudon, New Hampshire, 1 mile exactly, 7 degrees on the upper end, 2 degrees if you run the apron. So it's difficult to get down there, though, Dakota. And, you know, when you're practicing something like this, you have to put in the time. We watched you there last Wednesday. It is time and time again that you have to put in to just get this down. And even my track animation broke here tonight, so I've got all kinds of issues.
Yeah, I definitely think you're right. It just takes a lot of practice, and it really depends on what's going on around you, too. If you're 2-3 wide, and maybe that lane in the apron gets you past those guys, or maybe it just clogs you up in such a bad way that you get too close to that wall and have an incident. So we're going to see, I think, those guys that really practice racing different lanes tonight, they're going to have a lot of success, I think.
Taking a look here at the points, though, Philip Brewer took over the points lead from Chuck Sweeting, about 14 points ahead. Bryce Shoemaker still solid in third spot. Justin Ritchie moves up a position or two. That's Jared Skinner all the way down to Kyle Taub. And then Max Cost up to 11th. Brandon Wallace, that's one of the drivers that has a win this season. It's kind of mixed here because we have a lot of drivers that had success very start of the season, and then everything fell apart. You have guys like Jordan Trask, Michael Muncy, they got victories in the race 1, race 2, but then every week since then, they've failed to finish in the top 5. So it's kind of one of those, you know, I guess slumps, if you want to put it that way.
Yeah, this Challenger Series field it's really, really strong. There's a lot of really good drivers in here, and if you just even have one off week, you're going to find yourself dropping in the point standings really quickly. So to see fast guys like Jordan Trask and Mike Muncy just at the bottom of the docket here, it just goes to show you the level of talent they have in the field here.
So let's take you trackside and get the grid up on the screen, starting on the top spot here tonight with a 30.411. Let's see if the slump is over. Jordan Trask, he performs well at this racetrack. He's on the top spot with Hunter Sr. to the outside. Row number 2 belongs to Philip Brewer in the 44, your points leader coming into tonight. 4th in points, 4th on the track. Justin Ritchie will start in the 55. Jared Skinner and Austin Belkey for row number 3, and then 7th spot goes to Max Cost. Michael Muncy starting in 8th. Rounding out your top 10, you have Ben Laughter and Rob Ham.
And 11th tonight, you have Stefan Davis, and onto his outside is Matt Shinosky. Starting in 13th, you have Caleb Wheatley with Tad Nabney running to his outside. Chris Root and Brandon Wallace bringing up the row after. And then from this point on, guys choosing not to take a qualifying time in 17th, Chuck Sweeting and Tim Shinosky to his outside. And then you have Nick Hapiak in the 06 with John Sanu to his outside. And then bringing up the tail end of the field is Keith Shoemaker, being only 21 cars in the field tonight.
Only 21 cars, and you kind of said it here at the start of the broadcast. This is a little bit smaller field than we're used to here in the Challenger Series. Cup Series has maintained numbers over the 30s, but we're barely hanging on to the 20s. I think right now a lot of people know that it's tough here. Challenger Series, I think, in my opinion, is more competitive. But before we go green, take a pick real quick.
I think I'm going to have to go with Philip Brewer tonight. He's been showing a lot of speed every week, and I think he just has another chance to get a really good race here out of one of these technical tracks.
Well, you said that. I'm going to go with the 79 of Jordan Trask, but here we go for week number 6. Green flag is out. We're live and racing at New Hampshire for Saturday Night Racing League.
Here they come around turn 4, leading the first lap. Jordan Trask already showing great short run speed here, trying to pull away from the rest of the field.
Yeah, Trask holds on to it. You can see Brewer already working that apron on the entry. Similar to the line you were taking there last Wednesday, and the 44 able to get in front of Hunter Sr., put him up one spot to the inside for the number 1, though. He's going to make that crossover move into 3 and 4. Is that going to be enough for the 1 car? High side podcast on the low side. He's going to stay at the door for second.
These guys are getting really scrappy already, and it's only lap 3. Justin Ritchie trying to show that he has the short run speed to compete with these guys. Just trying to take advantage of what's going on in front of him. Maybe these guys touch, and he can scoot right through to get into P2 here.
He's going to take the outside line. He will have that kind of preferred line here through the exit of the corner.
And you can see Mike Muncy getting a little loose behind him there. It is a tough racetrack to get off the corners here.
55 will move up to the 3rd position. Michael Muncy. How many times did we say here in the season, Jordan Trask, Michael Muncy having trouble? And now it seems like here, this is the racetrack that maybe turns it all around. If you're going to go off of momentum, you want to turn it around midway through the regular season.
Yeah, I think this is definitely one of those heavy momentum points in the season where it can either make or break you. If you sneak away, win away, or you just keep having consistent finishes from this point on, you'll see yourself in the chase in no time.
Hunter Sr. back to 4th now. Had success up there in the 2nd spot. A little contact there. The 7 wearing the inside door off of Muncy as they come off of turn 4. Off the tower camera, still your leader, Jordan Trask. He dominated this race last season. Trask trying to do the same again, but you got to seal the deal. It was all the way to the end of the the end of the season last year there in season 2 that he got his first win. But how many times did you race with Jordan Trask on this sim and see him lead almost every lap and not get the finish he deserved?
It was quite a number of times last season, especially at the track like Iowa, where he has a lot of practice and he showed tremendous speed throughout the entire race. And then when it came down to the end, you just had that tire strategy on a yellow call. And there's just nothing that we could do, you know, when those guys take fresh tires and just are so much faster at the end. Man,
he has company.
Close. I was going to say, Philip Brewer is peeking to the inside here, looking to take the lead early from him. Philip Brewer is one of those drivers where his short run speed is really hard to compete with. He's very consistent in the first 20 to 25 laps of a fuel run everywhere you go. He will always have himself in the conversation.
Let's see if Brewer can find a way around the 79 into 1 and 2. He'll peek to the outside. I think he has it right here. He's going to get to the right rear. Has to lift out the throttle into the wall.
He got a little loose there trying to get the power down, and Trask just taking that really low entry was able to clear him early enough, and Brewer just having to get the power down to get that run off the corner just got loose and tagged the wall there, lost some momentum, and that's reeling in the 55 to his bumper.
So Richie starting to reel him in. Closest battle on the racetrack going on back here with Tad Dabney, Chris Rude. This is for 18th position. Dabney early on the brakes, 32 way up the racetrack. I think Dabney's going to have the offense here in just a moment.
He gets a good exit, but just that high line momentum, just carrying Chris Rude down the back straight here into turn 3.
You can see Clark Print Shop on that machine. Ray Massey spotting for Chris Root. Chris Root, the spotter for the 23 during the Cup Series. Trying to keep his head in the game. A lot of drivers that have, massively improved throughout, the course of 3 seasons now, Dakota. If you had to pick a driver that's been here for all 3 seasons, who would you say is at the top of that list?
I would have to say it's probably between Max Cost and Jared Skinner. Jared Skinner coming in late last season, he showed tremendous speed from the first race that he ran, and he just showing that he is a contender in the top 3 week in and week out. And Max Cost, I mean, you've seen it in the record books where they've been posted in the Discord recently. He's been here for every race in SNR. I mean, he shows up, he grinds, and I think the work's paying off for him. He's showing a lot of speed recently, and top 10, the top 5 finishes are showing.
That was going to be my pick there, and you got both of them. So, when you take a driver and put him in a scenario with higher talent, that's what happens. You produce better racing for these guys. When you go over to the Cup Series where you were graduated to, you can kind of see that translate. And I'm going to be honest with you, Dakota, the racing over there is even more top-notch. It's a whole different ball game. You can come here and not lead a single lap and still have a good day. But you go over there, if you don't qualify in the top 10, you might not see a lap led the whole night.
Yeah, it's just a whole nother level over in the Cup Series. You just have guys like Jeff Wright, Bailey Turner, Joshua Adams, Joseph McWhorter that they constantly have really good speed no matter where you go. And if you're not on your A game, you're going to find yourself in the back foot from lap 1.
Battle for the lead again here. Brewer chips on the outside. Trask had to try the bottom this time.
Jared Skinner getting really loose back there with a big slide job on Justin Ritchie.
Trying to get around for second, or third rather.
Man, Jared Skinner really center deep into turn 1 there to get the slide job, but ended up losing this position back with how loose he got through the center of the corner there.
You can see the 79 trying that apron off the exit of 4. It's working for now, but how much longer do you think that car has before Philip Brewer figures out a way around him?
Well, I think we're already seeing that now. I think Brewer's he's getting hooked up on those outside lanes a little bit more each lap that we take away here, and it's just going to be a matter of time before he's able to stick to the outside of Jordan Trask here and get the momentum down the straightaway.
We're going to look to the outside again. That lower exit shortening the track a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. And you still get really decent runs off the apron here on both ends of the track. So if you could just keep it hooked up through the exit, you'll be able to hold off those outside runs pretty well.
Battle for the lead is hot. Less than 1/10 of a second. Here comes Brewer to the inside into 3 and 4. Trask isn't going to be able to work that line like he did before.
No, Brewer's still trying to stick his nose in there. If he can just stick with him on the exit of the corner, I think he's going to be able to get him to the center.
Short run speed, 17 laps in. Dakota, how's this car going to transition when we're 35 laps in?
I think you're going to start to see these cars get a little bit tighter as we go on, and it's going to be even harder to get those runs off the corner, especially if you're a little too aggressive in the center. This thing's going to start to plow to that outside wall, and you're going to see track position become very key.
He does get to the right rear this time down the front stretch.
Here we go. This is what I was saying. If Brewer can stick with him here through the center of the corner, he's going to get a massive run down the straightaway, and I think he's going to clear him into 3 here.
If he doesn't clear him, he'll have the advantage on that outside line. He can pinch Trask down a little bit. Trask going to take that low line. Great defense here by Jordan Trask.
He's doing phenomenally on that bottom lane. He's keeping those runs to a minimum from Brewer, and he's able to stick with him here for another lap.
Has to concede that spot, though. That entry into 2. I like it. Jordan Trask doing what he needs to do.
Philip Brewer, I think he's going to clear him when they get off 4 here.
Side by side for the lead on lap 19. Who's it going to be for lap 20?
Trask doing a really good job getting off these corners. He's a little loose there.
Gonna use every ounce of the racetrack he can. And still, door to door, Brewer not able to clear. Off of turn 2.
Loose. Man, they are really fighting for every inch here, and not one of them is willing to give up the ground. Oh, Philip Brewer drops
Crossover.
Oh, Brewer trying to run Trask's line, throw him off. He's not going to quite get it hooked up, and he's going to fall back behind Trask here.
What a battle there for Trask. He held him off for about 5 laps.
Yeah, these guys are not willing to give up anything. They just want to get into that clean air and try to drive away from one another. But it looks like Trask, he might have a little bit of a better car here now after all that pushing.
And a move here for 3rd position with Jared Skinner to the inside. Justin Ritchie on the outside.
I think we're going to see a lot of the same here. It's going to be who's going to get the better exits off the corner here on the line that they've chosen.
Just clear.
Ritchie giving him a little bit of a tap in the center there. Jared barely cleared over his nose there. And Jared Skinner up to 3rd.
And it's pretty settled deeper in this field. You had Max Koss, Ben Lafter, 7th, 8th position. Go back here to Rob Hamp. This is kind of the closest racing that we're seeing right now outside the top 10, with Sweeting trying to get around. Remember, a lot of these drivers from 10th on back didn't take times. This doesn't really measure how they're going to finish.
I don't think so either, especially drivers like Chuck Sweeting, where I've raced him for multiple years now, and this is a track that I've watched him dominate at, where he's just absolutely driven away from the field. So, but Chuck is known for not qualifying and then just attempting to drive through the field, so this is nothing new to see from him, but I think you're going to see him up in the top 10, top 5 maybe, even by the end of this race.
Weather on the racetrack, 102 on the track surface, 79 degrees, partly cloudy, and no reason for that track temperature to come down. The sun is beating on this racetrack. Been clean and green so far for 24 laps. Jordan Trask coming by to complete that lap. Now working lap 25.
Man, it looked like Trask was starting to drive away from Brewer, but Brewer has closed that gap up again, and he's looked like he's getting ready to attack him once again and maybe try to get this lead away from him.
So I got to ask, as far as what we've seen so far, I think it's going to come down, if we stay green, to pit road execution. Who's going to get on and off pit road the fastest? That's where you're going to make up this track position. That's also kind of the Achilles heel for the 79. He's made mistakes on pit road before.
Yeah, I think at this point, he's got a good race car. He is battling with Brewer, but I think if he just backs pit road up just a hair, make sure he doesn't get any penalties here, he's gonna continue to lead this race. He might give up the spot to Brewer if Brewer's a little bit better on pit road, but as we're seeing, he has the long run pace, so he could make that back up. The battle for P11, the top 10, the end of the top 10 here is heating up. We got 4 cars right on top of each other. A little bit of contact between Stefan Davis and Matt Szymanski.
In spot with the 60 and the 31 side by side into turn 1. A bit loose. Rob Hamp's gonna look 3 wide.
Oh, going 3 wide New Hampshire doesn't usually pan out well, but backs out of it here. Oh, he's gonna throw back up there.
There's the 75 of Chuck Sweeting also into the mix. In 13th, very loose off the corner for Stefan Davis.
And these guys are fighting super hard for this top 10 here, and Stefan Davis is going to come away with it here.
And Muncie kind of got left out to dry on all of that. He did the best he could to not get into Stefan Davis. Ends up losing 2 or 3 spots.
Yeah, I think you're starting to see these guys struggle in the long run here. We're getting about halfway through a field run here, I think, and guys that push maybe a little bit too hard in the start, you're starting to see them get too loose or too tight. Jordan Trask up here starting to drive away a little bit from Philip Brewer here. I think Brewer might have pushed his car a little too hard.
Put Jared Skinner back into the mix as well. We're accordioning back together for the top 4 or 5 cars. Top 3 definitely. Skinner showing that speed. One of the picks that you had there for, improving over the course of these 3 seasons.
And I think he's just going to continue to improve. Every week you just see him better and better on both short and long run pace here. He's had me beat on long run pace in numerous races, so I'm really excited to see if he could just get up here and pass these guys like they're standing still, just being back there biding his time. I think he's going to try to start looking for a move on Brewer here. If he can either get on his inside or outside, I don't think it's going to really matter. He looks like to have the better tires in the top 3 right now.
I got loose off of 2.
Loses a little bit of ground there.
It's the other frustrating part about this place, though, and you can have the run, you can be faster than the guy in front of you. Finding that lane to get around one another for a third through this race, it's got to be frustrating. That's why New Hampshire is compared to short tracks, because it is frustrating to get to the inside of somebody lap after lap. We saw it there for the battle for the lead. We saw it for the battle for third. Just completing a pass could be, 10 laps of your life.
Yeah, and with only 100 laps, I mean, a 10th of your race just trying to get one spot, I mean, that's a long time if you think about it. It's just, you eat away so much of that race time, and before you know, you're going to be on green flag pit stops. So I'm curious to see who's going to come down to undercut and who's going to overcut this and see where these strategies start to play out. Man, these top 4, I think these top 4 are the class of the field right now. They've started to drive away about 1 to 2 seconds away from P5. Hunter Sr. back there has also been having a pretty good season, and he showed up late last year, and he's been showing a lot of improvement too. So there's a lot of guys in this field that I think just have shown tremendous speed week in and week out that just keep getting better and better. And we're 6 races into this, Bradley. Who do you have for your championship pick? Who do you think's got it to take it for season 3 here?
Wow. Yeah, that's some bold accusations. I would probably narrow it down to Chuck Sweeting and Philip Brewer. I think it's going to come down to those 2. But if we wanted to throw out maybe a crazy pick, I think that that's a tough one. I think Justin Ritchie has the goods to do it. He's just got to complete the races, He's got the car, he's got the speed. He's shown that every single week. So that's kind of my Hail Mary pick for the championship, Justin Ritchie.
I think I'm right on the same boat as you. I just think if he can stay out of trouble for the rest of the season, especially going into the playoffs, get himself maybe a win or 2, get some playoff points here, he could be looking really good at the end of the season. But I think you're right. I think this championship battle, it's going to come down to a couple of cars. Chuck Sweeting, who's fairly consistent, and Philip Brewer, who's got pace everywhere we go. And I think my Hail Mary pick, I think Jared Skinner, I think he's got what it takes to pull this thing all the way home, especially once we get to the playoffs. I think he just is so consistent. So if he can just stay out of trouble, I think he has it in the bag.
Well, there's another driver on that list as well that could, stay out of trouble like Ritchie. It's Jordan Trask, and we kind of touched on that at the beginning of the race. How many times, he leads the most laps in a race. It seems to be wash, rinse, repeat. But here tonight, look for the second win. Does he go 2 in a season? We're yet to see that from the 79. Trask is pulling away.
Yep, I think you're starting to see this long run pace here. Brewer pushed his stuff pretty hard trying to battle him, and I don't think Trask really had to do much to defend him there. He just was running his normal line clean, but Peru was getting super aggressive on the exits to those corners. Maybe he slid his stuff up too much, so you're starting to see him fall back into the clutches of Richie and Skinner here. So we're starting to see the guys that have that long run pace. They're really starting to show themselves at the front of the field.
Pass for third with Jared Skinner. Watching Justin Ritchie, he was looking to the inside off of 4. I thought he was going to carry that momentum. And that's another part too, though, is I think for Ritchie's sake, he's a little bit cordial. He's a little bit cautious to try to make some of these passes. He had the run there out of 4.
Yeah, and I think you could see it too. I think at some point out of 4, he got a little bit loose there, but the environment that we come from, the races that we've run together, everyone is, super respectful. Man, you just see Jared Skinner tag the wall there, lose all that momentum out of 4, and Richie's just going to go right around him on the outside.
Yeah, he got really loose there out of 4. I don't know if he actually hit the wall or not, but he definitely came off the outside like he did.
Well, good on him for collecting that up. It was a great save. Didn't try to weave back up in front of Richie. He just kind of let him go, and now he's starting to fall back to Hunter Sr. here, who's starting to show some long run pace. He's starting to catch these top 4.
Moves for position. Here's Caleb Weekly in the number 13. And well, I got sad news for you. Ever since you left, driver cameras have been pretty quiet. But here's on board with Caleb Weekly.
It's another one of those drivers who show up every week, and he just starts to show the practice that he's been putting in. And I think if he can keep himself out of trouble and start to get him some better finishes towards the end of the season, I think he'll be another threat in the playoffs once we get there.
Back here in the 14th position right now for Weekly. The short tracks, flat tracks, they haven't really been keen for Weekly this season.
I mean, they're so tough, and if your driving style has trouble keeping up with tracks like this, it just becomes that much more of a slog. That is true, but you also have to remember Bristol, the extreme banking difference between Bristol and a track like New Hampshire, it just requires such a different style. So Weekly showing that he has the prowess on some of those more banked short tracks, it might be a little bit more foreign to Weekly here.
Jordan Trask, still your leader. He has led over 40 laps, now coming up on 42. Approaching that halfway point. Wrapping this thing up quickly here for week number 6. Caution free so far.
And I think he's just going to keep driving away from these guys. He's just taking care of his stuff super well. And these guys back here are just going to have to start battling each other, see who gets some clean air. Maybe Senior who's moved up to P3 and Richie who's up to P2. Maybe these guys can chase him down. Maybe they've saved their stuff up enough where they can get up to him before green flag pit stops.
2.5 seconds, and it's dwindling down. You can see the fastest lap times on the left-hand side of your screen. Richie was 0.7 of a second. Well, no, I take that back. That was 0.3 of a second slower.
Here he comes. Down pit road.
He's coming down pit road. He's going to probably take 4. Man, you can't one-stop this race. That's disappointing. That tells me these guys are going to split this race into thirds for Richie.
Well, from what I learned in practice, the fuel tank is about 60 to 63 laps. So I think he's still in the window to one-stop this. I think he's just maybe looking for an undercut to jump these guys.
Could work out to his advantage. Trask stays out on the racetrack. There's Chris Root in the background coming down.
Richie off pit road, nice and clean. No penalties to be had. Hunter Sr. starting to match Trask's lap times here, and he's not terribly far off. Now, something to think about, Richie coming down at lap 45, where these guys have probably about just shy of 20 laps left in the fuel tank. When do you think the domino effect starts to happen? When do these guys start bringing it down?
I'm going to split this race in half, Dakota. I think that's probably the best way to do it. 52, 53 laps. It would be the most I would go. I think right at lap 50 is the window, just based off of lap times. We got, over 1.5 seconds of fall off. It's almost a no-brainer at this point. What's your call?
I think I'm right there with you. I'm probably maybe on the latter half of 50 laps. I think I go maybe 52 just to try to get the overcut on some of these guys and then chase them down, have the better tires. Undercuts usually don't work from my experience, but maybe at a track like this, Richie can get far enough out, and by the time the lap times plateau, he'll be too far ahead for these guys to catch him.
Then that's execution. That's down pit road, doing the perfect job getting in and out of the box. Then you have to be perfect with every lap. We're watching fresher tires with the 44.
He must have snuck down pit road.
Yeah, I didn't even see it.
Yeah, I must have missed that. He must have pit maybe a lap or two after Richie, but you're just seeing the pace difference between fresh tires and these 49 lap old tires that Trask has got on the 79.
I think Trask is going to bring it down this time.
Yeah, I think I'm right there with you. He can't let these guys drive too far away, and he's gonna stay out another lap. I think he's probably on the boat you want to be on. Go to lap 50 and split this thing right in the middle.
80% fuel here tonight. We did not talk about our race analysis. Of course, 100 laps. You can see it on the top left-hand side. 45 miles per hour on the pit road speed limit. 4 tire sets available, 2 green, white checkered attempts, 80% fuel. 80% is enough to apparently split this race in half. The iRacing fixed setup. Trask is going to go another lap.
I think we're starting to get to that territory where you're letting these guys drive too far away. Oh, here comes Senior and Skinner. They're right in the middle.
That's got to force his hand now.
Yeah, I think if you stay out any longer, you're just shooting yourself in the foot at this point. You're just going to fall too far back, and you're not going to have enough laps to catch these guys.
Sticking with the strategy from V-Speed, we have some juicy spider drivers on pit road. You also have Max Koss pitting from around the 4th or 5th position. He worked his way up quite a ways. Trask on another lap.
I can't believe it. I just think it's too long at this point. You're going to have too much ground to make up. By the time the tires fall off, you're just going to be too far back to do anything, I think. He's got to come down to pit road this lap. If you go any longer, you're just ruining it for yourself.
Well, it makes sense for guys that started outside the top 10, like Chuck Sweeting, like Stephen Davis. Anybody that's, 3rd, 4th position on back, absolutely. I would kind of stay out, do the overcut strategy, have a little bit fresher tires to continue to pick up positions, especially if you didn't take a qualifying time. As you're watching Chuck Sweeting now, John Sanu following him in. There's Tim Shednoski in the 41, also coming down pit road. Keith Shoemaker in the 88. And that almost cycles everything out.
Except
lap.
for Trask. Yeah, Trask still staying out. Trask, Belke, what does it look like? Stephen Davis, Brandon Wallace, all staying out on the racetrack. They're the only cars that have not pit yet.
Unless he's going for the major overcut. Maybe when he catches back up. I don't know.
I just think the 2.5 fall off. I mean, how many laps has he gone over? He's almost 10 laps over Richie on this fuel cycle here. So that's a long road up. I mean, you're going to make that ground up once you come back off the pit road, but if you got to stay stuck in traffic, and these passes are hard to make in New Hampshire, so you got to factor that in. You got to pass other cars. You're just on the back foot now.
Austin Belke down and away. Top 10 for the
goodness.
24.
Yellow flag.
Caution. That is perfect. That fits in for what Trask was doing.
I can't believe it. Looks like Chris Rude had some issues here. That just worked absolutely perfectly for Jordan Trask. Oh, yep, just loose off of turn 2 there. Those fresh tires, they'll get you if you don't get them up to temp quick.
Oh, and he didn't have damage, but now he does.
Yeah, just didn't quite get her turned around the way you wanted to, and Those cars coming up brought the yellow out, but single car incident, so not too much carnage throughout the field here. And I think these guys that pit 10 or so laps before Trask, I think they come back down and put another set on.
Justin Ritchie in 4th position. Because of his short pit, he was able to unlap himself.
Yep, and here they come. I can't believe it. I thought this race was going to go green for much longer, and Trask staying out and he just caught it at the right time. He's able to maintain the lead here.
Right now, the 79 looking good. He has about a 6-7 lap advantage on most of this field. He'll come down pit road, and Philip Brewer says, I'm going to come down as well.
Yeah, I think you absolutely have to. Those guys were out there for at least 10 or so laps, and with bunching back up again, you would just get left behind on lap times. It would just not be worth the risk to try to stay out and be in front of him.
Tad Dabney, the free pass position. Hunter Sr. waiting for a wave around. He's behind the 88 of Keith Shoemaker.
There's going to be a lot of cars single file in this restart here, Bradley, so things could get a little sketchy here for a couple laps.
Trask back out on the racetrack. We have more coverage to continue here on V-Speed. You're watching the Saturday Night Racing League Challenger Series. More coverage continues here right after this. Welcome in, everybody, for Saturday Night Racing League. I'm your host, Bradley Cooper.
Gentlemen, start your engine!
Again, well, thank you all for being here.
32 cars, green flag at Daytona. And it is a cluster back here for the 15th position. Haley Turner will lead him down.
Turner, Stravato, Jeff Wright. We see some lockup, big lockup. Rewind for second. Sturgeon clears all of them.
Comes down a little bit here in the entry of one.
Porter might just try to run him out of room here. Holy bump in the wall. They're going to crash. They both crash. Ray Massey's going to win it. Are you kidding me?
Well, you got a nice shot of the safer barrier there. Jordan Trask will be the command car for this restart.
Got Stephen Davis starting these outside on the front row here, but he's going to be on older tires than Trask, so you're going to see these guys just put fresh rubber on. They're going to try to get around him pretty quick here.
Pace car pulls off. We're back underway at New Hampshire in the Echo Park restart zone.
Everyone seems to be pretty respectful on the single file here for most of the field. Everyone's just trying to get through the first lap here.
This is a moment here on V-Speed. We're going to try to find a different camera because that one keeps sneaking in there.
Well, these top three, they found a way to Stephen Davis pretty quick, and I think Richie's going to try to hold on to these guys here now that he's a little closer. He's going to try to just find a groove, don't let them drive away too far, and maybe try to outpace them on the long run.
Past the halfway point, and then you know what this means, Dakota. We got to find those volume knobs as we ride on board a battle for the lead. Inside line here for Philip Brewer, but let's get loud. Covered by FireStorm Racing. Get Loud, presented by FireStorm Racing, and we have completed 67 laps here at New Hampshire. Still, your leader is Jordan Trask, doing another excellent job at defending the 44 from getting around him.
Yeah, he's just, like, again, he's just running his line. He's forcing Brewer to make a choice here. Doesn't matter if you go up top or below me. I'm just going to run my line, and if you force your stuff, I'm going to be faster on the long run here again. So I think Jordan Trask is just doing an excellent job.
More defense is going to be needed, though, as we watch another side-by-side. We saw this back around lap 20 or so, where these drivers, I mean, they put it on for at least 7 or 8 laps.
And I think you're going to see a lot of the same here, but Brewer's just struggling to get his car stuck to him. He just needs to find that groove where he can get to his door and then just force Trask to be a little bit different in the corner, force him into a different line, see if you can get him uncomfortable.
Contact works too.
Oh, he's getting
close.
real close. Man, he's just not, he doesn't want to let him go, but I think just showing how much long pace Trask had, I think Brewer just maybe needs to sit for another 5 or so laps. Just kind of let Trask maybe overdrive his stuff to get away and then try to fight him on the long run. He might have a tire advantage.
At 30 laps left here. Crossing that mark.
I gotta tell you what, someone's really impressing me right now is Tad Dabney, sitting P6 right now. He's doing a fantastic job. He's battling off Jared Skinner right now, and he's just working a groove here. This is probably the best race I've seen out of him yet, and he's doing fantastic.
Tad Dabney in the number 9. Top 10 day so far for this machine, and Hunter Sr. just ahead of that. Remember, these are drivers that, you know, forcibly had to come back around the racetrack. Not the best situation with where that caution came out.
No, they found themselves at a tire disadvantage, and but the way the fuel tank is, nobody's coming back down pit road again. So you just have what you got unless there's another yellow. So you just fight for the positions you can get here and just bring it home on a good day.
Would be a good day for Tad Dabney. Jared Skinner in 7th position. You know, it's weird to say 7th spot's not a good day, but he would like to be up another 3 or 4.
Yeah, I think so, and he absolutely had a car to go and win this race, and it just sucks that he had to be on the tire disadvantage here. He's just kind of got to fight where he's at and just keep a good point stay on.
Dabney gets really loose off of turn 2. This could be the window.
Yep,
Out to
Jared
the
Skinner.
inside.
Yep, here he goes. He's going to slide job him on the exit here. Tad's holding on the outside really well. He just gets the momentum here, but it looks like Skinner's going to clear him off turn 4.
And just brush with the wall there for Belke. And he's still going to get to the inside. This is a change in hands for 7th position. So 2 spots lost for Dabney in 1 lap.
And while that was happening, we had a change for the lead. Philip Brewer finally gets around Jordan Trask here. And then maybe this is what he needed. Maybe now he's got the clean air and he can drive away from him.
Thinking back on the V-Speed instant replay, 3/4 of the way through this race, you can see the 75 getting loose there off of turn 2. It's going to set up the momentum to the outside. And this 79 just made a mistake. That's all there is to it.
Yeah, I think Philip Brewer just bided his time long enough. He finally found where Trask was uncomfortable and just took advantage of it immediately and was able to take away the lead. But I'll tell you what, Trask is not giving up. He's still hanging onto his bumper. He's not letting go.
Trying to figure out a way back around the 44. If you're in the 79 right now, Dakota, it's maybe not so much change your line. It's been working. But you got to dial back the intensity. You got to take yourself out of the lead in that clean air. Now up to 0.3, 0.4 of a second. I think for Trask, he's going to have to back off a little bit here for a few laps and try to go back on offense with maybe 10 to go.
Yeah, I think so too. If he just maybe let him get away a tenth or two. Just really take care of your stuff. Let him cool down a little bit after those slides he had. Just kind of let him get comfortable, and then, like you said, maybe 10-5 to go. That's when you really start to turn it up and see if you've got what you have. If you have enough tire advantage for him at the end of the race here. I think Trash he might just be pushing a little too hard, but he's not letting him go. Verr can't drive away at the moment, but we might just start to see a gap form here towards the end of the race.
Clean air has been advantageous all night long.
And you have to think, yeah, Trask hasn't had to run in dirty air all night, so this race car might be handled completely different than what he's used to, so you might start to see that hinder him as well.
If you're Philip Brewer, you've been in dirty air all night long, so that clean air probably feels pretty good.
Yeah, you definitely don't have to feel like you have to push the car as hard as you did before, and you're still making the same lap times, but you're saving tire while doing it. So, this is going to be a hard situation for Trask, but I think if he just keeps doing what he's doing, he'll be just fine.
Side by side back here into turns 3 and 4. Tad Dabney, that is the 75 of Chuck Sweeting, that's going to try to slide up in front of the 9.
Oh man, they were so close. So close on the exit a corner there, but Chuck Sweeting's able to pull it away, and Tad's still holding on to a top 10 day here, so I think if he just stays running the line he's running, he's going to be either in the top 10 or just outside of it here. Oh, just you can see behind him, John Sanu there getting a little bit loose off the corner, might lose the spot to Rob Hamp there.
Hamp not able to get to the outside and stay there down the backstretch. This is the edge of the top 10 for the 86 and the 18.
And these guys are going to be fighting for that top 10 here, so you're going to see just the same. Oh, Tad Dabney up into the outside wall there. You don't see that very often in New Hampshire.
Looks like he missed the braking zone going into 1 and 2, and the 9 car able to hold on. I think he's on borrowed time.
I think he is too, but I think if he just runs his line, it's still going to be hard for these guys to get around him unless he makes another mistake here. But you might see these guys start to get a little antsy. They might try to get another spot or two, try to make up a little bit of points here towards the end with the situation they're in.
Johnson looking down low. Again, this is for 9th position. Tad Dabney holds it up there.
He's running a little bit different line than everybody. You see him trying to work that third groove and then cutting it straight down off the corner. It's a fairly common line, but you don't really see nobody else trying that. Everyone's trying to just run the bottom, wrap that white line through the corner, which is a little bit more traditional here. Oh, and you see Rob Hamp got a really great run outside of John Sanu there through 1 and 2, and he's looking to attack Tad Dabney for P9 here.
We also have Max Koss in this picture as well, in the 63 machine. Trying to work his way back to the top 10. Then Laughter in the 64.
Yeah, another great short track driver. I raced him at Martinsville last season, pulled away a P2 there. So he's usually got a lot of speed at tracks like these flat tracks, and might just be one of those guys again on that tire disadvantage. So he might just be struggling a little bit more here. Max Koss getting there loose, trying to get on the inside of him, but both of these guys fairly decent on short tracks, so just curious to see where they end up.
Battle for the lead is back hot. 79 looks to the inside. Trask isn't giving up.
Nope, and I didn't expect him to, but it looks like he's still got really good long run speed here. And oh, here we go. He might be looking to send it really deep on the bottom of the corner here to maybe slide up in front of Brewer and halt his momentum. Wow, he got a really good run off the corner there. He's got the advantage going into 1 if he can just slide up in front of Brewer on exit here.
Brewer's going to pinch him through the midway of the corner. Is it going to be enough?
Brewer's got massive momentum on the outside line there. I think he's going to stick with him into 3.
Just enough there for Brewer to defend one more time. 44 falls back to 2nd.
Yep, Trask finally got him on that low line and had to absolutely Brewer just had to come out of it there. He just halted his momentum off the corner. But, oh, yep, Brewer's going to try to cross him over, go on the low line. See if he's gotten enough grip there to get off the corner and maintain with him.
Looks like it. Nope.
Oh, it has to fall behind. I think now the coin is flipped. I think Brewer just needs to bide his time a little bit here. Tires are probably a little hot from how hard these guys have been racing each other. So just bide your time a little bit, cool it down, and try to go back after him again here when we hit the 10 to go.
It's 13 to go. See, 3 laps, and he's going to dive to the inside in 1 and 2. Trask will give him that line all day.
Yeah, I think so too. I think the outside line for Trask is really hooked up right now, and I think Trask did a good job of saving his stuff when Brewer got out in front of him. And I think you're just going to start to see maybe Trask pull away here towards the end. Oh, we got a caution flag on the racetrack.
That's not what Jordan Trask wanted.
Absolutely not. That evens the playing field right back up. It sounded like it was between Ben Laughter and someone else here. Oh, it looks like it was Max Cost. Oh, Ben Laughter running into Max Cost there.
Let's get back to the front stretch. It's going to be out of turns 1 and 2 where this all goes wrong.
Yeah, I think so too. These guys are all just so stacked up on each other going into turn 1. Max Cost having to check up really hard. They're going up high into the corner. I think he just might get tight here and hit the wall and halts his momentum. Yep. Oh, and then Ben Laughter just has nowhere to go. Oh, heavy damage to the front end of the 63 car. I just think Ben Laughter doesn't have anywhere to go here. He just hits the wall so hard. Yeah, he just had to brake super hard coming out of the corner, and Ben Laughter didn't have anywhere to go. And that brings everybody down pit road to put some fresh rubber on it. And I think we got some 2-tire stops here, Bradley.
I think Jared Skinner and Chuck Sweeting are going to try some track position.
And I was starting to beginning to wonder if 2 tires were going to be a call at all tonight. And I think maybe on the long runs you don't, but well, they had probably about almost 40 laps on the tires there, give or take. And I don't know. I just don't know how ill handling this race car is going to be off the get-go. I think the lefts just might be a little bit too worn to make this stick.
Well, we're about to find out. Free pass position goes to the 32 of Chris Rude. We'll go one more lap around here at New Hampshire. Don't go anywhere. More coverage continues. The Saturday Night Racing League Challenger Series. Race number 6. Back with more on V-Speed in just a moment.
JS Racing. We're in the game.
Gentlemen, start your engine!
Drivers,
To keep pace with the ever-changing landscape of marketing and advertising, let Clark Print Shop help you spot the trends and keep you in front of the pack with all your color printing needs. From business cards to invitations, menus to mugs, we can print anything you need on paper or your choice of over 3,000 promotional items. Visit www.clarkprintshop.com to browse our online catalog and place your order today, or call us at 276-889-3426. For a limited time, use the code iRacing for 23% off your first purchase. The staff at Clark Print Shop looks forward to handling all your color printing needs.
Walking and Rolling Costumes started when my son Reese was born with cancer.
So when I was 3 years old, I got my first wheelchair.
And he wanted to be Wall-E for Halloween that year. And so I knew you couldn't buy a costume to go on a wheelchair at that time. So I knew I had to build one.
My dad ended up building a Wall-E costume out of a Dell computer box.
When we were all finished, he loved it. We took pictures of it and shared it on social media. So many people started sharing it that we started getting requests from people we didn't know.
In 2015, we decided to build them for other kids because people were asking, hey, can you build them for my kid?
So we started the nonprofit organization, Walking and Rolling Costumes, and we build costumes for kids all over the nation, free of charge to the families.
Welcome back here to our coverage on V-Speed, where we're back under caution. Saturday Night Racing League Challenger Series 44, Philip Brewer sideways, and we'll take a look here. Actually, had to unpack. There was multiple incidents there.
Yeah, it looked like everyone was getting really intense on the restart there and trying to make up spots when we're 10 to go here, and it just looked like everyone just was making a bunch of contact. That was just from being over aggressive.
Some of these cars that hadn't even gotten caught back up to the end of the field.
Yeah, I mean, look, we're 3 wide off of turn 2 here. Everyone's just trying to vie for the little bit of space that they can get, maybe get some of these positions. We're going in super deep here. Stephen Davis goes down to the apron, gets loose, and just comes right up into Philip Brewer there. You hate to see that for him.
One more time. There's an incident on the backstretch as well. I think it involved Johnson New.
Oh, heavy contact.
That's the incident that brings out the caution. We're back underway, though, with 5 laps to go. Just took the green flag, and here comes Jordan Trask trying to compete for the top spot again. 3 wide behind him.
Oh, Chuck Sweeting, Jordan Trask, Justin Ritchie just trying to vie, just get a little bit of space here to get up to Jared Skinner, who's on 2 tires right now, but he's doing a phenomenal job to hold him off.
Just has to do it for 4 more miles.
Oh, but Jordan Trask has so much more grip than him in the center of the corner. I think if Skinner can just keep blocking off Trask here, I think he's good enough on the exits to maintain.
Sanu sideways down the backstretch. He saves it. The 86 back to 15th. 3 to go.
If we just stay clean and green here, I think Skinner can pull this off. I think he's got what it takes. Even on these 2 tires, he's doing a phenomenal job to hold him back right now. But I think if Trask can get on the outside of the inside of Skinner, that's going to really hurt him. He's going to be able to beat him off the exit of the corner.
Skinner sideways again off of turn 2. Here comes the lead. Brandon Wallace sideways.
Yep, heavy contact in the back of the field on the backstretch. Looks like he towed it before a yellow came out, so we're going to stay clean and green here with 2 to go.
2 laps left, 2 miles. Race number 6 of the regular season. Season number 3 of the Challenger Series. We might be adding a new name to the victory count here. Trask looking for his second. Skinner looking for his first. Side by side with 1 to go. 1.5 laps left. Here's Justin Ritchie.
Oh my God,
Crossover.
Jordan Trask able to slide up in front of Skinner, but he's going to look for a crossover to get back below him. Oh, they're making contact. Heavy contact for Jared Skinner on the inside wall, and Richie goes to the lead.
Richie could have had it right there. He'll be door to door. One more time.
If he can just get a good exit off the corner here, clear him into 3. He's got one good chance to get this, but they're side by side going into 3.
And Justin Ritchie is going to have to pinch down on the 79 off of turn 4. It doesn't look like he's going to. Jordan Trask is going to drive off of turn 4. Victory lane for the 79.
Oh man, what a finish to this race. Contact between Jordan Trask and Jared Skinner. Jordan Trask able to collect her up just enough to compete with Richie there into the corner. And oh man, I really thought he had him there, but just went up a little bit too high in 3, and Jordan Trask able to clear him for the win here.
Skinner finishes in 6th. Hunter Sr. with a top 5. And how about Austin Belke, a car that we didn't mention really at all here tonight?
Yeah,
top 3.
Absolutely. That's a fantastic finish for him. I know he'll be excited for that. Really good points day for him. Just was able to fight through the carnage there and bring himself on the podium here. But what a dominant day from Jordan Trask, who led the majority, over 3/4 of this race, and saw the wind start to slip out from him there towards the end, but he was able to hold on and bring her home out of turn 4.
Post-race interviews with your top 3. Man, you got an easy one here, Dakota. An hour and 13 minutes. We're wrapped up. We're going to get those top 3 drivers and those final race results in just a moment's time. You are watching Saturday Night Racing League Challenger Series, presented here on V-Speed. More coverage continues in just a moment. Welcome in, everybody, for Saturday Night Racing League. I'm your host, Bradley Cooper.
Gentlemen, start your engine!
Again, well, thank you all for being here.
32 cars, green flag at Daytona. And it is a cluster back here for the 15th position. Haley Turner lead him down.
Turner, Stravato, Jeff Wright. We see some lockup, big lockup. Rewind for second. Sturgeon clears all of them.
Comes down a little bit here in the entry of 1.
Porter might just try to run him out of room here. Only put him in the wall. They're going to crash. They both crash. Ray Massey's going to win it. Are you kidding me?
Welcome back to our post-race coverage for the Saturday Night Racing League Challenger Series. We've concluded 100 laps at New Hampshire, 100 miles, and a dominant performance by Jordan Trask with 4 cautions, I believe. 3 cautions. Take that back. Looks like my overlay a little bit broken here, but 6 lead changes and Jordan Trask able to seal the deal after leading the vast majority of laps. Final results up on your screen. There's Justin Ritchie and Austin Belke for the top 3. We'll get a word with those drivers in just a moment. It's Chuck Sweeting who gets a top 5, and Hunter Sr. and Jared Skinner. 2 fast cars, 5th and 6th position. Skinner had the lead with 2 tires at the end of this. Rob Hampel finishing 7th. Ben Laughter in 8th. Caleb Weekly a top 10. And Tim Shinosky rounding out those top 10 positions.
And you see the cars just outside the top 10 with the P11 is Matt Shinosky, who's looking fairly strong all night long. Philip Brewer finishing P12 after fighting for the lead for the majority of this race. Just ends up getting with contact there with Stephen Davis and finishing in P12. And Stephen Davis finishing right behind him in 13th. John Sanu, who had a couple incidents toward the end of the race there, is able to bring her home in P14. Keith Shoemaker, 15th. Max Cost, who is also a fairly good top 10 car, brings it home at 16th after an unfortunate yellow. Chris Rude, 17th. Brandon Wallace, 18th. Tad Dabney, who was having a really good top 10 day, gets caught up in some incidents for a P19, and Michael Muncy finishing 20th, 27 laps down. And then to round out the bottom of the field, Nick Hapiak, who I don't even think started this race, finishing P21.
Did not. He was actually more laps than we actually completed here tonight. So he's going to be at the tail end of this field. Well, you know what? I know that we talked about it and who we were going to take. I'm going to pull up Jordan Trask real quick in victory lane. We're going to start from the top and work our way down. It was a dominant performance for you, and Jordan, 79 laps led, 79 on the race car.
Yeah, that was a fun one. Definitely a little nervous there at the end. That was some tough racing, but had a lot of fun racing Philip throughout the race, and Jared and Justin there at the end. That was a lot of fun. Sucks that Jared lost a few positions there, but just some good hard racing.
Well, Jordan, sorry I had a little interruption there. My son decided that tonight of all nights, he was going to pound on my door. He's never done that before. So the soundproofing, I think, worked, though. I don't think anybody at home heard it. And, you know, down here in Victory Lane, it's pretty loud.
Yeah, it was a really fun race. I adopted running that new low line that I learned from someone else in a different league, and it just really gave me so much drive off the corners on the long run. And unfortunately, didn't get to finish this race on a long run, but it was a lot of fun throughout the race.
When you go back to the beginning, a lot of defense. You did it twice here tonight. And the first caution fell in your favor. The second one, not so much.
Yeah, I did not want to see that second one. The first one didn't really matter too much for me. I mean, it did benefit me because it put a lot of people a lap down, but really the race is between me and Philip after that. And seeing that we both still had fresh tires on at the same time, and it was just going to be the same race again. But I love how respectful he and I have been able to keep it, and we've raced side by side a lot this season, and I think we're going to be doing it a lot this season.
And then finally, I got to go out to, I just want to throw out the statistic. It was 1 win last season. You had a lot of points. You were a championship threat there. But now this season, it's 2 wins. And does that kind of staple some stuff up for you going into next week?
Yeah, definitely feeling a lot more confident this season. And I mean, not having Dakota Floyd in the field definitely helps. But it's a tough one. I'm trying to put the best races I can together. Unfortunately, last week ended up not finishing that race and got a penalty on top of it. So my point standings actually isn't looking too great right now, but this will definitely help tonight. And hopefully I can keep up some consistency and still make those playoffs.
Well, at the risk of losing it all right now, I have I've pretty much lost my mind here on the broadcast here tonight, and we've had some technical issues. I'm going to try to get those sorted out. Jordan, anybody you want to shout out, though, will we have you up in the V-Speed booth?
Yeah, huge thanks to you guys for the broadcast. Can't wait to go watch it back. And thanks to everyone at SNR. It's always fun to race these races, and I'm always looking forward to it every week. And it's a lot of fun, and having Joseph McCorder spotting and helping us, it's always nice to see the improvements in the practice, getting good finishes out of it.
Appreciate your time. Jordan Trask, second win of the season. Race number 6 is going to go to a dominant performance. 79 laps led. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And I know there's a guy that you're pretty excited to talk to here, Dakota. It's their second place finisher, Justin Ritchie. And we're going to pull him up into the broadcast booth, the 55. I don't know. You can scold him any way you want, because I thought he had it there off of turn 4.
Yeah, Bradley, I'm down here on pit road with the 55 of Justin Ritchie, who saw victory just slip just far enough out of his reach. And Richie, you got to tell me, I know you were really fast tonight. You ran the top 3 all night long. What did you need there in those last 2 laps to get around Trask?
It just needed maybe an extra % on my rear tires to be gripped up. Yeah, that was super close. I got pretty excited when I saw him in the, I think it was a 7-car make contact. I thought it was going to be a free run for me, but Trask was able to get it collected up, and we had a nice run down there to the checkered flag. But yeah, just maybe an ounce more of grip would have done miracles for me.
Now, I know you've been having issues with getting caught up in trouble in races coming up to this, and you've just been looking for good finishes. What does this do for your confidence coming to the weeks to end the regular season and get to the chase here?
Yeah. I mean, it definitely proves that I can definitely compete up here. I mean, it's kind of a Mickey Mouse position where I've been at up to this race. I mean, I only had 1 top 5 this season, so this, I feel like, kind of solidified, especially at a track like New Hampshire, just such a tough track to run consistently on. But it just kind of solidifies that, you know, I can compete and possibly win a championship.
Well, we definitely saw some really consistent, really fast pace from you tonight, and look forward to seeing you the rest of the season here. Go ahead and get your shout outs here, who helped you get here, and whoever you have to thank here.
Gotcha. First, big shout out to my mom. She's watching tonight, so that's always cool to bring home a podium. Shout out to the V-Speed booth. Can't wait to go back and watch this. Super cool to have you broadcasting this race, being teammates and all. Shout out to, you know, all the Orange Speed guys. Shout out to John. He was kind of talking me through some stuff through the race, just trying to get centered. Shout out Benji. Wasn't able to race tonight, but we look forward to seeing him back next week. And shout out to all of the sponsors and admins of the league that let this show run as well as it does. It's always a really competitive, really fairly administered league. So that's always amazing to be a part of.
Well, Justin, we look forward to seeing you race, maybe see you back up in the broadcast booth. That was your second place finisher, the 55, Justin Ritchie, having a good points day here today.
Might have pulled him out too soon, but we have one more driver to talk to. It's third place for Austin Belke. And Austin, we said your name maybe twice tonight. It seemed like you were running, you know, top 10 at the best, and a little bit off here tonight in the qualifying, but you were able to work your way back up into those top positions when it mattered most. You put yourself in a scenario with that caution coming out late in this race. Talk us through, though, you know, New Hampshire is one of the toughest racetracks we'll be at all season.
Yeah, well, it's funny you mentioned being up on qualifying. Usually I'm terrible at qualifying, so I feel like this was one of my stronger qualifyings or qualifications. But in the race, I was just trying to stay calm and really not burn up my tires. And it worked for me for a while. I was reeling in some of the guys in like 3rd, 4th, and 5th, but Jordan Trask was just in his own zip code. But this track is super challenging. It's one of the only places, the few ovals, where I actually use the braking markers. Otherwise, I just get a feel for when I need to brake going into the corner. And there's a bunch of different lines. You know, you can go out really wide to start the corner and then cut back down on corner exit, or you can go in really shallow and just try to wrap the bottom. And even then doing that, you go in really shallow and there's guys still going off the track onto the apron to get a straighter exit off the corner. So it's just one of those, there's a lot of options to choose from, and you have to be really careful about how much wheel you're putting in and how much you're using the right foot.
And Austin, you know, I don't mean to be kind of rude here, but it's not been a good point start for you here halfway through the season.
No, we missed a race. I made an emergency day trip to Ohio to see my brother and missed a race early on in the season, and we've just kind of had bad luck. Good runs, but DNF'd at Michigan, DNF'd out of Daytona, and it's been just really difficult to find any sort of sturdy footing, and I'll have to miss another race here in the middle of October. So kind of doubtful we'll make the chase, but just it's fun to show up and race with all these guys. It's a good group to race with.
Fun to see the 24 out there on the racetrack. And Austin, I know back last season we raced side by side a lot. You're one of the guys that I confidently could say I can get beside you and we can race 10 to 12 laps without having any contact at all. So well deserved on the top 3. Is there anybody that comes to mind that would put you on this podium?
Yeah, well, first, thank you, man. I appreciate that. You're one of the guys I know. There's usually not going to be contact, and if there is, it's probably a mistake, and it's a rare mistake at that. But the good Lord, my parents, my amazing fiance, my team, Different Path Motorsports, everybody at SNR for putting this series on. They do a great job to host it, all the guys that run it. And you guys, these broadcasts are top-notch. Seriously, thank you.
Austin Belke going to be racing the 89. We'll see you over at the Cup Series in just a moment.
Thanks to you guys.
So there you have it. Top 3 post-race interviews. It's all locked up. We have the halfway point of the season now. It's on to the other side of things. And I know for me personally, this is kind of the moment where you reevaluate, what did I do wrong or what did I do right? Dakota, you have 2 championships. How do you measure this for the first 6 races?
Well, I think you got to look and see where you're at in the point standings first, and if you're on the back foot, see what mistakes you made. What put you in the position you're in? Was it things out of your control? Was it things that you just made mistakes on? And just try to adjust from there. Maybe put a little bit more seat time in the coming weeks to kind of give yourself a better position. And if you're on the good side, just keep doing what you're doing, and maybe just try to get a win or 2 more. Set yourself up really good for the playoffs. So I'm excited to see what these guys are able to do, and who's going to come out on top for the regular season championship, put themselves in a really good spot for the playoffs.
Well, you keep saying playoffs, but we got a chase format here. And so when we reset there, it's kind of taking the top 12. But playoff format, we kind of measure these guys based off wins. It's not so much a guarantee. If you get a win in other leagues, you're kind of guaranteed that spot. Now it's bonus points, and I think for me personally, I'm looking at how long do I want to go before I turn up the heat? How am I going to start changing my strategy, adapt, overcome? And we've seen a lot of these guys trying to do that throughout the races here tonight with Jordan Trask getting the victory. I thought he had it locked up. And then you saw Jared Skinner there on 2 tires. He tried to pull one out, and I think that it's going to take gutsy calls like that to get a championship.
I definitely agree with you there. And yeah, excuse me, it is a chase format here, so you're not necessarily guaranteed anything until you've got it locked up and going into the chase. So wins are definitely the most important for those guys. Really good in the points already. You just lock yourself up, get some really good bonus points going in, because that regular season championship is a huge boost at 10 points. So these guys just really need to start turning the heat up, I think.
Well, coming up next, we're going to go to the Tricky Triangle. And this is going to be the Cup Series at Pocono. You can tune in here live on V-Speed at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. It's about 45 minutes away. Race number 6 for the Cup Series in season number 5. And my co-commentator will be up there on that left-hand side of your screen. I'm sure, Dakota, that this racetrack is one of your favorites.
It absolutely is. This is the one in my backyard, so I'm hoping for at least a good finish here, or try to compete for the win at the very least. So I am more than excited, especially since we got the draft package fixed in the Gen 4 car. So I think you're going to see a really good race tonight.
Again, 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Saturday Night Racing League is flag to flag all season long. You can catch every single race here on V-Speed. If you enjoyed tonight's coverage of the Challenger Series, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. You'll get a notification when we go live for the Cup Series. For everybody at V-Speed that helped put this all together, my co-commentator up at the broadcast booth, Dakota Floyd, Our camera pack here provided by Dougie Beard and Adam Baker, Morgan Cook, Logan Threlkeld, and Eddie Smith. This is Bradley Cooper saying so long from New Hampshire. We'll move on to the next one. Until then, stay tracking, everybody.